What's going on, family? It's Brother Coasty at IALLG.com. We are always building bridges within to explore the world without. Today's topic is all about returning to your roots. It's all about purity and becoming pure again. This topic is taboo. I like to feel, at least. You know, excuse the rant, but here we go. Today's society is big on these things that we like to call freedoms or experiencing freedom, right? You're free to do what you want. I want to do this, I want to do that, etc., 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 right? Let's examine what freedom is, y'all. And this is a very heated topic for me because we're living in an illusion. A lot of people are living in an illusion. And to process these thoughts, I got to move around. So if you see me like looking around and doing these things, like I'm channeling a lot of energy, a lot of thoughts. So, we're living in a world where people are talking about freedom. And, when I hear that, it's typically as an escape or as an excuse to do something that is harmful to them. All right. And before I give examples, I want to just state that a lot of the times it's not that you can't do these things. It's simply a matter of, are you aware of what you're doing? The saying is ignorance is bliss. And that's 100%, 100%. Ignorance is bliss until you know the truth. Let me explain a little bit. If you knew what you were doing was taking you further away from your purpose, if you knew what you were doing was the reason behind why you feel so pissed off or sad or angry or unfulfilled or dissatisfied or unpurposeful or inauthentic, if you knew what you were doing was the cause of that, the question is, why would you continue doing it? What would cause you to want to continue those behaviors? This is important stuff, family. And I'm only asking those questions rhetorically because I want you to think about them, but also because this is where the argument is. And it's not even an argument, it's more like a conversation. This is where the conversation really begins. Why would you do those things if you knew it was harming you? Right? Is it really for the sake of freedom? Or, and this is going to challenge you, you listener, if you are somebody who has not gotten a rein on their urges or their appetites, and I'm one of those people, I haven't gotten a full rein on all of my appetites. Are you really doing it because you're free, or are you doing it because you're a slave to your appetites? This is important stuff, family. We know drug addiction is a thing. We know alcoholism is a thing. In fact, a lot of the people that participate in these behaviors see their own family have these issues. And they repeat them. And they say it's just something that the family does. It runs in the family. And in fact, we kind of celebrate some of these very toxic traits. And I'm not here to judge you all, but I am here to speak facts. We got to recognize, drinking every weekend, that's a problem. Smoking every weekend or every day, drinking the same way, that's a problem. Eating every time, like as emotionally as we are, and typically you're eating emotionally, that's a problem. Having sex or masturbating as often as we do every day or every other day, that's a problem. And I know a lot of the times people might be saying, no, it's not. But I'm here to just encourage you to do some deeper studying on those things. And really depends on what you study, y'all. A lot of mainstream things will tell you that all those things are normal in excess and that's fine. I mean, in moderation, not in excess. They'll tell you those things are fine in moderation. But An important area of this is what is moderation. We got to recognize that we live in a consumer based society, and this society is adamant about overconsumption. You know why? Because when you consume, you're spending typically, you're spending money, or you're lowering your own mental faculties so that you don't make better decisions. Big important stuff, family. Like it's all a game. It's all a game, and you are the pawn. Look, I love chess, and look, a lot of the times we think we're the king because we have these freedoms and we do what we want. But I'm gonna let you know, a lot of the things that you're doing is actually programmed into you. The amount of ads that you see, the amount of commercials that you see, the what we call predictive programming, it puts things in your mind and it says it enough so that when it comes up, you think it's your own thought, but in reality, it was an implanted thought that was watered a whole bunch of times. Do what you want, family. I'm just going to tell you what I do. I don't watch TV like that. And if I watch Netflix, I watch it sparingly. And I don't watch what's trending. I watch stuff that I'm interested in. Like I like anime. That's kind of stuff I'm into. Um, I don't be around people like that. I don't listen to the gossip. I'm gonna tell you why. The gossip will have you in the drama. And that drama keeps you emotionally stimulated. And if you're always stimulated, guess what happens? You basically become, I won't say numb, but you basically become not aware of the stimulation. It's like if you ever you scratch your skin, or if you have like if you're a nervous person, you got nervous ticks, things like that. Like people scratch their neck or they rub their chest, or maybe you like play with your ear. If you notice it, because everybody has one, everybody has those. But if you notice that you have one, when you're doing it, you don't recognize that you're doing it because you've done it so much. Like if you're rubbing your hand, like if you're rubbing your shoulder or scratching and doing one of these things, you'll do it out of habit, out of behavior, and eventually you won't even know that you're doing it. You're just doing it out of compulsion. When you're doing things out of compulsion, it's a sign that you've been infiltrated. This is important, family. And this is, I had to give you the preface before we got to this point. The goal of us right now should be to return to purity. Now, purity is not complete abstinence right now. There are levels to coming back to purity. Number one is getting control of your thoughts, your thought patterns, and the way that you view the world. How many of y'all wake up and you're excited to tackle the day? More often than not. I say more often than not. 9 times out of 10. You're excited to tackle the day. How many of y'all wake up and you enjoy what you're doing every day? How many of y'all wake up and you look forward to all the interactions? Okay. Now, how many of y'all dread getting up? How many of y'all look forward to the weekend? How many of you think Monday is your least favorite day? You'll find that if you ask other people these questions, y'all all have the same answers, right? You're following the crowd. And it's a very important saying, family. I can't I'm saying all this out of love. I want y'all to recognize it's all out of love. Most often when you're following the crowd, you're going the wrong way. Because the crowd is easily manipulated, right? Because a majority of people act emotionally. And if I'm just telling you what's happening. If I can stir up your emotions, I can dictate or at least reasonably predict what you're going to do, especially when I put in your mind what I think you should do or what I tell you should do when you experience certain emotions. Again, what you watch, what you listen to, what you're around, those are all programming you to respond in certain ways so that when an experience in your personal life happens, you automatically know what you're going to do and what you're going to say and how you're going to respond. The question is, did you really respond? I mean, did you really take in everything that happened, or did you respond unconsciously? Now, I ask that question. A lot of people think, well, I made the decision to do that stuff. And I like to, it's kind of going deeper beneath the surface. You got to ask yourself, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And why did you do that? And why did you make that decision? And why did you feel that way? And most importantly, why do you feel that was correct? Why do you feel that way? And where did that thought come from? A lot of people don't like being questioned. A lot of people don't like to question themselves. A lot of people don't want to dig beneath the surface. And the reason is it's control. They fear not being in control. And if you ask yourself those questions enough without of doing the work, you will find that somewhere along the lines, you've lost control. You don't know. That's what we get to eventually. I don't know. Therein lies the problem. You're no longer pure. And I'm not saying that to judge you. I'm saying that as a reference point. When you came into this world, you were pure. You had your assignment, you had your mission, you had your purpose. You knew why you were here. And you could reasonably pinpoint where these thoughts come from. I know you may think a baby is empty. No, a baby is full. We empty it. And we replace that good stuff, the pure stuff, with infiltrated stuff. And it's not always on purpose. We don't know better sometimes. And that's why this topic is so important, because we have to come back to purity. We have to reel in our appetites. We have to act from a place of love and not lust. We have to act from a place of abundance and not scarcity. This is purity. Much of the world is acting in opposition to purity, right? Let me ask you this question. Why are you in a rush? Why are you in a rush? And when you drill into that, you'll realize it's because you are operating under the idea of scarcity. Rushing is you saying that you don't have enough time, or time is limited and time is running out. And so you got to run, 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 run. Well, I do have a meeting. I do have to get to work, blah, 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 blah. You sure do. You, in your reality. However, there's plenty of time to get the stuff done. And you say, well, if I go to work late, they're going to punish me, or I'm going to get chastised, or, I might lose my job. It's harsh. It's a very harsh and stark realization, because it's contrast or contrary to what you believe in. But is that the only job? Do you believe that you would not be able to find another one? Is that job worth losing your mind in, or rushing and potentially getting into an accident? At the root of most of our movement is this idea of scarcity. We're afraid something's going to run out. And when you operate from this area, from this place, from this plane, what you do is you invite scarcity in to stay. When you go back to purity, and that's restraint. Check this out, family. Males and females, fellas and ladies, brothers and sisters, stop having sex so much. Stop it. Restrain yourself. I dare you to. Why? It feels good. Okay. But enjoy it more. You know how you enjoy stuff more? You limit it and you prolong the duration of it. Instead, focus your energy on something else. Get to know each other more on a deeper level. Go experience the world. Go travel. Go to parks. Do other things besides waste your energy. I dare you to. See if you can control the lust. And you'll know it's lust, because you're not, a lot of times, if it's pleasureful. It's just pleasureful, and it's not uplifting for a lot of people. I'm not saying that for everybody. You might be different. You and your lady, you and your man, y'all might be different. But for a lot of the times, it's just for pleasure-seeking behavior. I just want to feel good for the moment. Oh, yeah. But that's an appetite controlling you, and it's detrimental. I dare you to take your health seriously and stop eating fast food. See if you could do that. Go back to purity. Because a lot of times when I talk about this, people think, well, I am pure, or nobody's pure, nobody's perfect. They have all these things, but I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm saying walk towards that light, walk towards that direction. When you feel called to, this is important. You got to feel called to do it. But I'm bringing it to your awareness so you, when you do feel the urge, you understand what the urge is. It's an urge for purity. It's an urge to go back to your essence, your true self. When you feel the urge to drink and smoke, and this is what I hear from a lot of people, man, I got a lot of stuff. I'm going to hurt somebody. I've had a stressful day. And that's why they do the things that they do. They're running. These drinking and smokings are coping mechanisms. And you only cope with something that you feel like you can't bear. And if you can't bear something, that means something has been added to you that does not belong. And if something has been added to you that does not belong, that means you're not in your most pure state. The only way to address those things is not running to band-aids, but instead addressing the solution. Face what is bothering you. Understand why you're mad. Understand why you're so worked up. Did you realize that you can make a change in your direction and what you do every single day? You don't have to stay at the job. You don't. I'm not telling you to quit. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying that there are other options out there that you maybe have not considered because you're operating in scarcity, which is the opposite of purity, which is abundance. Purity is abundance, family. It is abundance and excess. Everything is here. But when you don't operate on those frequencies, you are drawn down into the lower nature, to the impure nature. And we're here to purify that nature by bringing it under reins. Again, I'm not telling you to stop everything that you're doing. Have fun, experience life. But I'm here to tell you to do things in moderation, and you'll know it's moderation when you can control the behavior. When you're out of control, you're out of sync, you're out of balance. This is a sign that you need to do things to reel yourself back in. Come back to purity, family, when you feel ready, when you feel called. And if you find that this is a harder journey than need be, it's typically because the mental space is dirty. The mental space is clogged up with things that don't belong there. And I'm here to tell you that's not your fault that it's there, but it's your responsibility to get rid of it. And when you're ready to go down that path, watch some more of my videos. But you'll realize that at one point in time, these videos won't be enough just for you. You'll need to get guidance. And when you're ready for that, I'm here. I always keep my doors open. I only accept a certain amount of students at a time. So I would encourage you to act as soon as possible so you're not waiting. Because the longer you wait, the longer you postpone what's for you. And the longer you postpone what's for you, the harder it is to get over that urge, those appetites, lust, sex, greed, all the things that we talk about, all the things that you know you shouldn't be operating under, but we are. They're just in disguise. It's because we're not in our most pure state. We can always return there. And there's nothing bad about it. I'm not talking about, being impure because I think you're a bad person, but I'm telling you that to bring awareness to you that there is a higher you waiting for you to change, waiting for you to decide to do and be better, waiting for you to accept your highest calling. That's it, family. This is Brother Coasty at IALLG.com. We are always building bridges within to explore the world without. Peace, family.